Today I am sharing my favorite snowman projects all in one place so you can find some great inspiration for projects that you can enjoy on into the upcoming winter months. Please leave me a big thumbs up and let's get on to DIYing. First, we need a bigger decor piece, so we're going to be using some boards. These gnome ones are a perfect size. They usually have these in different styles, and these longer ones can be put together to make like a larger rectangle. So to piece these together, I like to start by removing all of the tags and the hangers, and then using some of these jumbo popsicle sticks. I like to pick these up from Walmart, or you could use the Dollar Tree ones, but these just have a lot of surface area, and I feel like they just have a nice hold, and I do put way more than I even need because I do want this to be super sturdy. You can see I'm using an older brush. I love the effect that it puts on this sign, and it's not just painting it like 100% perfect and it's leaving some of that brown exposed, but I am going more for like a rustic farmhouse Christmas look on this sign, so I do like how it does look sanded down and distressed. Even though I did go lighter around the edges, I still like to take my sanding block or a piece of sandpaper and just go over the edging, and that lets even more of that brown show through. Now for the planks at the top and the bottom, I do want this to look more like a pallet sign, so I picked up those wooden pieces from Walmart, but you can substitute that with some Dollar Tree items using the real wood little chunky planks and just paint those up to look really pretty. But these are only around $1.50 I think at Walmart, so a really good deal, so I like to opt for those. And they already have like this gorgeous finish. I did have to cut them down just about 1.5 inches so that they did fit my sign a little bit better. Glued that at the top and the bottom. You can always opt for wood glue if you like a stronger hold. And then I love this little MDF snowman that I picked up at Dollar Tree. I love how they are putting out so many blank pieces that we can just be creative with and make your own thing. I did fill in the little hole at the top with some hot glue and sand that down, but I feel like this is what's going to set this project off. Dollar Tree has out their own like vinyl in the crafters square, so I found this pattern which I was so excited about, and I actually added that to the top of the snowman as well as the little scarf. It was pretty simple to do. I just tried to go really slow and careful, and then cut away the excess with a pair of scissors as well as a razor knife. Just took that so well, but if you can't find the vinyl, you also could just cut down a piece of scrapbooking paper. I did decide to distress mine, so I sanded over the paper itself, and it just fits more with the style I'm going for, but you could leave it as is. And then painting the snowman completely white, even his nose, and I went back and forth debating on if I wanted to paint his nose orange or not, but I did want to keep this a neutral sign, so I ended up just sanding on it a little bit, and it gave it a gorgeous color. So you'll see how that turned out. A really cool hack though, you can't really see what to cut away, so if you take your sanding block and just kind of scrub over it a little bit, you can see the perfect outline of what needs trimmed away, and you can easily cut back all of the remainder. All I did was sand it a little bit, and you can see how gorgeous it is. Just kind of darkened it up so it does pop off, but I didn't have to add any orange color in. But you could easily turn this into a colorful project, give him a splash of color on his hat and his scarf, but I just like this and think it fits more of my style. And then I opted to go for paint markers to fill in his little eyes. I did trace out some little circles before I filled them in, so he had those lights in his eyes, and then using the back of a paintbrush, I dipped it in black paint to create his mouth. You can see how cute this little snowman turned out. I love it. There's so many things you could do with this. I even found an MDF Santa head the same kind of size and shape, so I'm excited to put that to good use too. And then Crafters Square has out a ton of these big words, but I actually found this grateful sign from a pumpkin, so left over from the fall decor. We are reusing as much as we can, and just glued that down to the bottom. But I love this. It is so gorgeous. So proud of this sign, and definitely going to enjoy it for the rest of the year. Okay, so for this DIY, I already had another sign prepped. It's a different sign that I had turned around backwards and painted with my mineral colored chalk paint, but I was dying to use one of those galvanized snowmen. So I did my little hack where you take a straight edge and a piece of sandpaper and just like trace it without tracing it. You're just using your sandpaper to sand away these lines so that you can see the actual boards. This is such a really cool way to avoid so much painting and distressing. And then for the snowman, I did lightly go over it. You can see I started out super light. I wasn't sure how much white paint I wanted to add to this, but kept on lightly feathering the white paint on until it was like snowy looking enough, I guess, for me, and then went ahead and just hand painted this little snowman face. You could add real buttons as the buttons. I went ahead and just painted them on to keep it simple, but so many different things that you could do here. I feel like this is what makes this sign really cool, was I picked up one of those Dollar Tree styrofoam hat ornaments and I cut it down. So I was trying to use a serrated knife as well as a razor knife. The razor knife seems to go through like the fabric a lot easier, but the serrated knife goes through styrofoam really easy. So I just kind of cut off the front of the hat that was all decorated really pretty and then cut the base off, and this just makes it lay flat against the sign. So I liked how it kind of made it a 3D piece. I glued the snowman down in place, added his little hat to the top. Mine ended up fitting really well, and then I decided to add these wooden snowflakes around the edges. I wanted it to look like they were kind of thrown everywhere, even if that meant they were kind of off the sign. So I did use some of my miter shears to cut a couple of them in half and glue them in place, added a rope hanger to the top, and some extra little details with white paint. But a really, really cute sign. I love how some of my signs have words on them, but some of them are just about like the main decor piece. I think it's really cool how they have all of these different shapes. I picked up these two snowmen. They also have Santa, but I feel like the snowman would be super simple to make over. So for this one, I started out with chalk paint and then soon realized it was too thick, so I did add in some acrylic paint to thin it down, and I just coated this kind of the same as before, just making sure that it's getting all over, and then I do set these upside down on like paintbrushes to drain out. Let these completely dry before adding the lid. I would think they would tend to mold or something if you left that moisture inside. So I put the little tops back on place and then gave them the most adorable little scarves just with some Christmas ribbon that I have. I did one with the black and white checkered, and then I did a red version, but these were so fun to create. Once again, could be a cute family project, but make these over however you would like. They do have that little round nose, and I tried to paint it, but I did not like it, so I just took the back of my paintbrush and just dotted his eyes and little buttons to make sure that they popped out at you. But these are too cute, and they really pop being that white against the green tree. You can even make these for yourself. I love this little snowman. He is absolutely adorable. So I had to remove the biggest part of the bottom and then take off the tag. I did have to reattach his little hat and then remove the arms sticking out, and he's the cutest little snowman. I just glued it down onto the lid, did pretty much the same thing, added in some faux snow. I did have to trim down his little scarf just so it didn't get stuck whenever I was trying to put the little lid on. But he looks absolutely adorable, and once again, another family fun project. These are super simple to put together, but so adorable. I thought this was the coolest thing ever. I discovered if you take one of these plastic snow globes from the Dollar Tree, turn turn one of these like bubble vases upside down, it fits on there and it looks just like a snowman. So this is adorable. It's a super fun project. You could make this with kids or make this a family fun craft project, but all I did was pour some white paint in the top snow globe and just coated that with the white paint. You also could take a paintbrush and actually just paint the inside or use spray paint, but after I got both of them white, I glued them on top of each other and then started playing around with decorating up this snowman. So I added a little black sock at first and I didn't like it, so I added in a gray one. I did use a little bit of hot glue to give him kind of like a 3D nose. You do kind of have to be careful. I would turn my hot glue gun down to a low setting to do that because it does want to kind of warp on the plastic snow globe a little bit, but then went in with the back of my paintbrush, gave him some big eyes, a little mouth, painted the nose, and tied a ribbon for the scarf. These must be super popular at Dollar Tree. They seem like they're putting them out from year to year. I know the last time I ran in there, they had more of the jars that were like the You Inspire Me one shown here. And I wanted to paint the back of these. So I definitely recommend painting the front, the ugly side, if you are going to display these, just in case they fall over or someone knocks them over. They won't have like a ripped up backing. But I decided to paint the back, which is now the front, this white color, and then paint the little tops black, and I'm turning these into some little snowmen. So the easiest way for me to make little snowman faces is to use the back of my paintbrush to get the eyes as circular as possible. I did add in some extra details. I wrapped the top with this black and white buffalo check ribbon to give it extra details, but I will be adding in a bow to the top at the end. All of this tiny little detail painting is definitely my favorite when it comes to crafting, especially Christmas time, making the easy little snowman faces and gingerbread. I did go in with one of them and add some little eyelashes, so one of them would kind of look girly and the other would kind of be a little bit more boyish, even though he's got like that burlap flower thing on his head. And then I felt like they needed a little scarf. I love how it kind of coordinates with the top hat ribbon, but it's not like exactly matching. So just double knotted that around the bottom and cut those off, but super cute to set around. I added in some white paint and just really cute pieces. Using another fun galvanized piece from Dollar Tree, I'm using this large jar. These have so much potential. I was so excited to grab some. I thought it'd be fun to paint the little snowman in the jar. I've made like a huge sign on my channel before, like a door hanger using a jar, but I thought it'd be fun to just kind of make a little small one, just a decorative piece. And this will be something fun that will last all winter. But I am using some turquoise paint. Go ahead and paint the jar. I am using my white paintbrush that was left over from putting the snow on the little houses, dip that in the blue paint so that it lightened up the blue and I could really add some texture on top of this jar. And then trying not to overthink it, I'm just jumping in and painting my little snowman. It did take a couple of layers of the white paint just to make sure I was getting a lot of coverage over the blue paint. And then I did add in some more glitter. I just feel like that was really fun and just looks more snowy to me. And then adding in his eyes and nose and little arms and a ton of snowflakes. I kept messing up on his hat and kind of extended it a little bit too long, so then I tried to add a little bit more white paint to his head. I still feel like it turned out really cute, but just I was overcorrecting. It would have been completely fine to stop where I was, but just fixing it up a little bit more. And then I added in a black and white checked ribbon to give it a finishing touch, and then added extra details to the lid. This only took me a few minutes and I think it is so cute and will be so much fun to get out and display all winter. Out of all of the craft supplies that Dollar Tree sells every year, these wood slices are definitely one of my favorites. And this doesn't always work out perfect, but I wanted to create a snowman, and this pack actually had one that was a tiny bit smaller, so it worked perfect as the head, and then the body was a little bit bigger. I did take the time to drill a couple of holes in it. Whenever you can pass on the hot glue and actually tie things together like this, it's going to work so much better and last, especially for Christmas time. You put it out for a month and you want it to last for a whole year so you get to use it for years to come. We are just trying to create things that can make it through storage, or that's how I feel about it. But I got this snowman put together, and then I actually went outside and found a couple of little sticks that had little branches on them and found the cutest little arms, glued those towards the back, and then started painting it. I was thinking while making this craft that a really fun kids craft could be to take a photo of your kid and put their head like Mod Podge it where the snowman face goes. I think that would be really fun. I know I really enjoy my kids' little DIY ornaments putting on the tree. I'm hoping that this year we can have a couple of different trees, one for just memory ornaments and one that I can dress up that kind of matches my style more, but just a really fun idea getting to use both of those wooden slices. And then for this next project, I had a really fun idea to use one of these little snow globes that you can pick up at Dollar Tree to put in the top to create a snowman head. So I started by painting the mug white and then glue the actual snow globe down inside the mug and paint it white as well. And then it was time to decorate this little snowman, so I covered up the seam because it did have a few little bare spots in it where the paint didn't match perfect. So I'm covering that up with a scarf, or this is just a piece of ribbon. And then I did the little tie to the side so I could glue some buttons to the front. And then I found a cute little mini hat at Walmart in the mini little tree ornament section. So I'm using that, but I know in the past Dollar Tree has sold an ornament of just a hat that's bigger, so this might look really cool too. And then using the back of my paintbrush, I dip it in some black paint, give the little buttons, and then do an orange nose. And then after the pink little cheeks, he is completely finished. This took no time at all, just waiting for the paint to dry, but I think he is absolutely adorable and would also be a great addition to a tiered tray. Next up is my favorite project that I've made in a while. This just makes me so happy to make some snowmen. So for this, I picked up 3 of these wooden planks from the Dollar Tree. I think I actually ordered a huge pack of them online, but it's been over a month or so ago. But you can substitute with any type of wood that you find from the hardware, or try to find some Dollar Tree signs this size. First thing I did was cut down the top one just a little bit, and to make this super simple, I like to use just a utility knife or razor blade. This is actually a mini one that I picked up just for small projects because then I couldn't find my bigger razor blade when I wanted to cut this down, so I did struggle a little bit getting that. But these will break off if you score them enough, and you don't have to use any saws or power tools to get this cut off. So then I picked up these little yardsticks from Dollar General, but you can find them at Walmart, or just use a square dowel rod, or even the painter's sticks or anything like that, paint sticks. So I cut these down. These were just $1 with my handsaw, and I get asked a lot why I don't secure my handsaw to the table, but that's just so I can put it in the frame and show you that I am cutting it down. And then glued these down in place. I did space them out a little bit to make the perfect wooden snowman. After I got it all assembled together, I am going in with some white chalk paint, and I do want some of that natural wood color to show through the backing, so just dry brushing over the edges, but putting a lot of white paint in the middle, and do this on all 3 planks, as well as some of those back little stake pieces that you can kind of see through there, but I love how this looks, and you can see that wood through there. This was absolutely the most fun part, decorating this little guy up. So I went ahead and picked up a scarf and a pair of matching earmuffs from the Dollar Tree. I love this Juncture brand. They make such like high quality pieces. So I was debating how I was going to get that scarf wrapped around it because it is super long, but I just decided to go for it, and I would cut it down if I needed to, and I ended up not having to. I just took some hot glue and kind of tacked it up higher so it wouldn't drag the ground, and then went ahead and secured on his earmuffs with some more hot glue. I was worried about his little earmuffs ripping off, so I did add in some extra hot glue to the back and then put some little tower blocks back there just to have extra surface area to hold on to. And then it was time to paint his little face, so I used a Sharpie to just kind of outline where I wanted his eyes. I didn't worry about it getting perfect. This is just a fun little craft for me, and if you wanted to put this outside, I would make sure it's on a covered porch and make sure you spray paint it with some clear spray paint, but be careful because sometimes that makes Sharpie or permanent marker bleed on your paint or kind of run, so you might want to not use Sharpie and just use the paint before you spray it. But I think I'm going to keep him inside and just either put it by the fireplace or by the tree, painted on a nose, and then using the back of my paintbrush, I added in his button mouth. I wanted to keep him pretty simple, so I left that as is, but if you wanted to go ahead and add an extra touch, I thought it would be really cute. Even if you wanted to pick up a few sticks out of the yard, you could give him some little hands or maybe hot glue some little mittens on the sides, but I left him as is, but I needed it to stand up, so I'm gluing in some of these little cubes that I picked up, these wooden cubes from Dollar Tree, and that just gave it a really nice sturdy base. And then I didn't like how the base was just this natural wood, so I did go over it with some mineral color, so it's not too harsh, not too light, but he turned out so cute, and I'll definitely be making this in a ton of more colors.